but I'll tell you what has saved me today. These, can you see these Ritz cheese crackers? Oh my God. Morning, folks. Here I am whispering a little bit in my garage again. It's about 7:30 in the sleepy town of Santa Cruz. I'm about ready to head out on an event put on by the Santa Cruz County Cycling Club called the Santa Cruz Mountains Challenge. We'll talk on the road, but as the name implies, it's basically a tour of the various mountains and big climbs we have in our area. So I'll be heading kind of west first, doing some stuff up in Bonnie Doon, Boulder Creek, and then kind of heading east a little bit to Mount Charlie, which is above a town called Scotts Valley. So we'll check in from the road, but here we go. It's supposed to be a little over 100 miles and about 11,000 feet of climbing. So are you ready? Am I ready? Okay, we'll talk later. All right, folks, it's I think it's July 18th today, 2021. It's the last day of the Tour de France. It's probably wrapping up right now. Assuming Tadej Pogačar is getting his second victory in the general classification, but let's not go down the Tour de France rabbit hole. Right here. It's a virtual Mountains Challenge this year. Maybe I'll see some folks out there on some of these routes, and I could ask them if they're doing the Mountains Challenge too, or they're just riding these roads, which are all pretty common and well-biked roads. They're just tying them all together, I think, is the challenge. Howdy do, folks. So, I mean, I guess if I was to break this down into maybe like 4 or 5 kind of chunks, you know, in terms of the big climbs, I guess kind of one is, you know, Empire and Smith grade, which I'm just coming out of after dropping down and up of that. I guess 2 would probably be Ice Cream grade, which I'm gonna hit pretty soon up the road. And I would say like those are the kind of introductory kind of climbs, but in themselves they're not, you know, they're not they're not easy necessarily. And then so that's 2. Let's see, 3 would be for sure Jameson Creek Road, and that's going to be a beast. 4 would be Bear Creek Road, not easy. And then 5, I guess, would be Mountain Charlie, which, you know, I do all the time, so maybe I think that that's something kind of easier, but is also, you know, difficult. So again, yeah, it's going to be a day. So I've just been trying to just keep it slow. Sometimes I get a little too excited. So I'm out on the Linksy today. You kind of see it back there. I'm trying out the. Maybe we can see it. I don't know if we can or not. I'm got a fairly new cassette. This Garbaruk. This Garbaruk 1046 cassette. So I'm trying this out, kind of the second big ride on that, on my quest for the perfect 1x road and bike touring cassette. So maybe this is it. No time for hesitation. It's time for clerical resurrection. So I think I might just kind of try to get in a Zen state, listen to some Steely Dan. All right, folks. I think that what I'm predicting is basically the ride begins here. So here I'm at the base, at the bottom of Jameson Creek Road, and we're going to climb back up to Empire grade, and then again do this kind of loop, the unfortunate Highway 9 segment again. But I kind of feel like this is where the day starts. So everything kind of between, you know, this morning and now is just kind of warm up. Cruising up Jameson. I've been down this road before, like literally. I've never been up. So kind of what I'm starting to think about is you know, and I don't like use bike computers and stuff, and so I don't really know like how long this keeps doing this. I mean, it's fine. Like I think the grades are fine for me, but how long? Definitely getting warm in the sun, and then like lots of little bugs starting to cruise around. So it's like, are they just in the air, or is the word out that like some stinky, smelly human is coming up the road? But yeah, it's nice. This is a lot of fire damage. We've kind of been in and out of fire damage, but I would say where we're at now is the most significant, and which is super sad because we're really close to Little Basin and Big Basin state parks that pretty much got destroyed and are closed indefinitely as they rebuild those facilities. And so what normally here would be kind of an artery to some real awesome dirt riding up in the mountains, that's kind of shut down for the time being. So yeah, I mean, you know, like anything on camera, it's hard to tell like how steep things are, right? But that's why I feel like this video, probably these chunks will just be like, well, I'm going up a hill. I don't have the like data to tell you what percent this is. 10%? I don't know. 12? Who knows? I mean, it's fine. I think the grades are fine for me. But all right, still on Jameson. Full gas to me right now is turning the pedal in my lowest gears, which is a 38, 46. So yeah, turning them at this speed is my full gas. When will this end? I don't know. You know, I'm not fully cursing this road yet, but I would say in a few more bends, if it's not over, I'm gonna be pretty mad. Okay, puncture update. I do have a little tear in the sidewall of the Raval, or I'm sorry, of the Rene Hurst tire in the back. I'm gonna ride. I put some air in it. I'm gonna see like basically what happens, and try to get to Boulder Creek. Good thing we're in the Boulder Creek time trial, and my goal is to ride as fast as possible anyway to get off this road. But and then we'll see, and if it's a friggin' problem, I'm hoping the sealant will squish around in there and seal that up. It's not huge. If that's a problem, then I'm gonna put a friggin' tube in it. I don't really want to have to. I'm deciding to just put a tube in it. It's not holding air. So step one in changing your tire or doing any bike maintenance on the road is finding a comfortable spot. And so I learned this from many years of riding vintage motorcycles that would break down all the time. So I've got a nice shady spot here, got my tools out. I also am going to be using this trash can as a little workbench, and that's going to make the whole thing work a lot easier as well. We're in a little bit of a shady spot here on Bear Creek, so I thought I could talk to you, because I think one of the things that's kind of getting to me a little bit today is the sun. I've got plenty of water on me, but yeah, it's just hot. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of was like wanting to, I wouldn't say I'm bonked, but I wanted to get to the point, you know, where I was chatting with you of like, okay, how does it feel, you know, when you're, you know, things are not as awesome as when you started, you're getting tired. Do you need to eat more? Do you need to drink more? You know, these are the things going through your head. You start to get a little more annoyed at things, you know, and so I think it's fair to say kind of that's where I'm at right now. Not a totally unusual spot for me, and I don't think it's gonna last the entirety of the ride, which there's still plenty to do. But you know, it's just sometimes you just, that's where you're at, and just kind of keep on riding and look for opportunities to improve it. I mean, it's mental right now is what I'm saying, but I feel like it's also connected to just getting, you know, physical exertion. So I am kind of slowing it down a little bit, trying to remember that this is fun. Also remembering that the word challenge is in the event title. Just got a fucking front flat. Oh man. I don't know if you guys hear that. I need to find a safe place to pull off here. Fucking shit. Alright, y'all. Pulled the front tire off. I'm going to try to give it some air. And we'll see what we could do. If I did recently add some more sealant to this. But yeah, obviously not stoked. Hoping for a beautiful day. Had, you know, 5 to 6 cups of coffee. Well hydrated, drank lots of water. I'm really starting to get curious on the edit for this episode of Bike Vids. I feel like our last couple check-ins have just been really not very positive. I got this front tire working, I believe. Put some air in it, shook it all around and all of that. So hopefully that does the trick with the sealant. And I'm gonna keep going. If I have to end this due to bike problems or something else, I'm gonna be super bummed because then I'm gonna have to do the whole thing again. But I'm still like in a fairly annoyed state. For example, like every car I see, I friggin' want to attack the person. That is not the attitude that we profess here at Bike Vids. Also, I think my GoPro just died, so yeah. Here we are again on a loud, heavily trafficked road with fast-moving cars. But good news is we're heading towards the last kind of big climb of the day. Hey folks, oh my gosh. So we're about 90 miles in, 91 miles. I've made it here to the top of Mountain Charlie, the final climb of the day. Let me show you basically what has saved me today. Definitely something I never buy, just snacks on the road. I should have brought more food, like on longer rides, I often will make like a burrito or some like things that are more savory and stuff. But I'll tell you what has saved me today. These, can you see these Ritz cheese crackers? Oh my God, I just like, it is literally why I'm here right now with you. So, howdy folks, you could see we're back here in the Bike Vids studio. It's the day after the event. I've shaved, I've reflected, all sorts of things. So I'm going to give you my overall kind of pros and cons of the event. Keep in mind, well, one, I am a member of the Santa Cruz County Cycling Club, a dues-paying member, the organization that put this on. I'm not involved in any event leadership or anything like that. Two, anything that sounds at all like a criticism or anything like that is not really meant to be weird in any way. I'm also a public school teacher. If there's one thing I know here at Bike Vids is, shit doesn't happen like this on its own. It happens based on just the hard work of a lot of people, and pretty much most of these people are completely volunteer. And so anything that's pro and con, blah, 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 this is not meant to be personally insulting. That said, I have pulled out the Bike Vids database, and I've got some pros and cons of the event. Okay, let's get into the pros. So the Santa Cruz Mountains Challenge, it's been happening for a long time. I've done it before during the organized ride version. This is the virtual ride version. And just general pro. In fact, most of the pros are general, and most of the kind of cons are specific. But generally, it for sure is a tour of the Santa Cruz Mountains, and it is certainly a challenge. So the name is true to form. Something that is exciting about this ride is it is a chance to show off the great roads, the forests, the difficult mountain climbs that we have in the area. And as a Santa Cruzan, that's neat. And I can imagine maybe some folks coming from out of town to do this ride and enjoying these roads. These are like must-do roads, I guess you'd say. And the fact that it ties them all together in this challenging event is really neat. Another pro is that it does promote the club, the Santa Cruz County Cycling Club, the SCCCC, and it also fundraises for the community bike collective that brings kids out on bike trips. So like so many events and things in our cycling community, they're not just about riding bikes. They're also about promoting positive organizations like the cycling club and of course the community bike collective. And I'll put links to all this stuff in the info below. If you like a challenge, right? And I like this is, I don't know, for me this is part of biking is the pain, the whole kind of thing, and that it's hard and stuff like that. If you like a challenge, all these things add into the pros of the Santa Cruz Mountains Challenge. Let's get into the cons, and I'm going to try to phrase these cons in more kind of questions. And again, these are not specific criticisms of any people or whatever, but I'm going to try to phrase them in kind of like a food for thought questions. And so the first question would be, it would help me to give cons if I kind of had a more clear sense of what is the purpose of the event. And there is some information kind of about the why of the event on the promotion, to enjoy the redwoods. But clarifying that purpose might help me with some of the other cons. So what is the general purpose or point of the event? The first specific con, is for sure the heavily trafficked roads that the ride takes you on. The ride has to, I'm not going to justify all, I have a hard time giving cons because, again, I'm a teacher. You could do anything stupid, and I'm just going to be like, oh, it's okay, what's the reason? So I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to really try to just do cons here. So my first con is this idea, the roads you spend too much time on heavily trafficked, fast-moving cars. I would say like dangerous roads that I wouldn't normally ride on unless under very specific circumstances, like I had weekday time off, or I could get out very early or very late. So too much time on heavily trafficked roads, and I want to show you an example of that as well, and maybe how. Okay, I just want to show you real quick. One of my main criticisms is how much was road traffic and car traffic prioritized in creating the event. And so here we see the kind of official, quote unquote, it is a virtual event. So, one of the questions I ask myself if I'm doing a virtual event is, who cares really what the route is? I could actually just do whatever I want. It lacks actual concrete meaning, but whatever. It's the nature of COVID times. So how much was put into that? And just here's a little example. You could see this heat map, and so we could take the heat map off. And so the route in red takes you on this section, all this section of Highway 9, which you end up doing twice. I kept referring to that in the video as the Highway 9 time trial, because it's basically like a horrible experience. It's just like you want to just get on and get off it as fast as possible. These things contribute to just like, I don't know, for me, like the non-enjoyment or anxiety or whatever, not a positive experience of riding. And so there are little opportunities. What I did is what I normally do, and what signage also recommends, is just getting off on Glen Harbor and looping around and getting off these roads. Not that Glen Harbor is some, cycling haven, but it is surely, safer and quieter than Highway 9. And so I guess the question would be, that's just a little example. Are there other parts of the ride that can be improved by getting you off some of these heavily trafficked, more dangerous roads? The next con is for some reason, am I a neurotic, weird person, perhaps, in your opinion? Maybe. I was obsessed over this idea that there was a thing called the gravel option. And I'll show you the stuff from the website. But fortunately, through communication, I learned that really, and the material varied. Some of the event material varied from how they would describe this gravel option. In some material, it was described as a gravel century. So at that point, I'm thinking about something like the Rock Cobbler or the Old Growth Classic, or something that really spends most of the time on dirt. And then on other material, it was called gravel options, meaning which is more accurate, because really there's only just two in the course of the event that you're going to go through, which you should do. Those are very minimal parts of the event, in my opinion. And it could be because my bike, the Ibis Haka, right now is kind of set up more kind of, I guess, for mountain biking. It's closer to mountain biking than just to ride a few gravel segments and then do mostly road. And so my question for that is, what kind of bike setup were you thinking about when the club thinking about when they were promoting those gravel options? What kind of bike setup were you imagining? Oftentimes, events will say, hey, a great tire for this is the 32C, blah, 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 right? So, versus, hey, a great tire for this is a 650B by 50, right? So, what kind of, bike were you thinking about for those gravel options? Checking the BikeVids database, it looks like that's really all I have to say. Would I do this event again? Of course. I'll do this event no matter what. I'll do this event if you double the dangerous roads. I'll do this event, if you have even less gravel options. It doesn't, I'm not, I'm gonna do it and tried to make the best of it. Personally, I didn't have the best day out on the road. I do think some of my pros and cons could have affected that a little bit, but again, I take full kind of responsibility, I guess, for my experience. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Bike Vids. And if you like this, or even kind of like it, you can subscribe. That'd make me very happy. If you don't like it, you can make an angry comment or even a thumbs down. I mean, whatever. I just appreciate your interest, and be safe out there. And see you next time. Bye.